So, have you ever really stopped to think about what this life is all about? Well, according to Islamic tradition, it's all one big test, a really detailed, moment-by-moment examination of everything we do. And, like any test, there's a final day of accounting. Today, we're going to walk through the incredible journey of that day, stage by stage, to get a clearer picture of the path that awaits every single one of us.
And let's be clear, we're not talking about just any old exam here. The Quran sets the scene with this just sobering intensity. It describes an event so powerful it's going to shake the very foundations of existence. The sources talk about a day when mountains will literally crumble into dust, and the oceans themselves will burn. And look, this isn't just poetic language. It's a reality we're here to understand, step by step.
Okay, so to make sense of this absolutely monumental day, we've laid out our lesson into 5 key phases, which cover a journey of 10 distinct stages. We're going to follow the soul's path chronologically, all the way from the end of the world to its final, eternal home. Let's dive in.
So how does it all start? Well, it's not some slow fade to black. It kicks off with 2 universe-shattering sounds. The angel Israfil sounds a great trumpet. That first blast, it's for total annihilation. Everything ends. The second blast, which comes later, is for the resurrection.
And this brings us to stage 1, the resurrection. With that second trumpet blast, every single grave cracks open. Souls are pulled back into brand new, reformed bodies, and every human who has ever lived rises up, barefoot and completely naked. But here's the thing, the experience isn't the same for everyone. For the righteous, those who lived a life of faith, they rise gently with a sense of peace. But for sinners, well, their rising is just terrifying, a moment of pure, overwhelming fear and confusion.
So, once resurrected, you might think that journey's almost over. But no, it is just getting started. Every single soul, from the very first human to the absolute last, is now brought together in one place for the first time in all of history.
I mean, just try to imagine that. Billions upon billions of people, all standing together on a single vast plain. The scale is just mind-boggling, but the terror is deeply personal. On this day, the Quran tells us a person will actually flee from their own brother, their own mother and father. The love for oneself, that desperation for salvation, it becomes so powerful that it just overrides every single bond you ever had on earth.
And then, the heat. The sun descends from the sky until it is literally just 1 mile above everyone's heads. This isn't a summer heat wave. We're talking about a crushing, unbearable heat. But right here, a really crucial distinction emerges. The suffering is not the same for everyone. It is directly tied to the life you lived on Earth.
This is where you see, in a very real way, how your deeds on Earth have a direct physical consequence in the hereafter. While the sinners are left to boil and literally drown in their own sweat, some up to their ankles, others to their chests, some completely submerged, the righteous are given a special kind of mercy. They are protected in the cool, comfortable shade of God's throne.
Can you even wrap your head around the psychological weight of that weight? For those who have a lot to answer for, this period of just standing and waiting will stretch on, feeling like an eternity. 50,000 years. And get this, the actual judgment hasn't even begun yet.
So after what feels like an eternity of waiting, the suffering becomes so unbearable that humanity itself will actually start begging for the accounting to begin. And this plea leads us to the very heart of Judgment Day, the divine reckoning.
Right, so humanity as a whole reaches its breaking point. People will rush to the prophets, Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, pleading with them, please just ask God to start the judgment. Each one will decline until the plea finally reaches Prophet Muhammad, and his intercession is accepted. And with that, the formal accounting finally begins.
Now, as you can see in this breakdown, individuals are called the stand-alone before God, and the experience is just worlds apart. For the righteous, the questioning is private, it's gentle, the answers come easily. But for the sinner, it's a public humiliation. Their tongue just freezes up, they can't lie. And then something absolutely terrifying happens. Their own body turns against them. Their hands begin to speak about what they did. Their feet testify to where they walked. Every single secret is laid bare.
After the questioning, this enormous scale, called the Mizan, appears. It is so vast that if you put the heavens and the earth on it, they would fit. This is the scale of perfect, absolute justice, where every single good and bad deed will be weighed with perfect precision. The Quran says not even the weight of a single atom will be overlooked.
So the outcome of that scale determines what happens next.
A book appears, and it's the complete, uncensored record of your entire life. If your good deeds were heavier, that book is placed in your right hand, and you're filled with this incredible joy, shouting to everyone around you, "Here, read my book." But if your sins were heavier, the book is forced into your left hand, or from behind your back. Despair just consumes you, and you wish you'd never existed at all.
And this is the cry of those who get their book in their left hand. It's a moment of pure shock and regret as they see a perfect, undeniable record of every single action, every thought, every secret from their life just laid bare. There's no defense. There's only the crushing reality of their own deeds. So, the accounting is done, the verdict is clear, but the journey still isn't over. There is one final, terrifying physical test that remains. A test that physically separates the saved from the damned.
Right before this final test, a moment of incredible mercy arrives for the believers. They're invited to drink from the pool of the prophet, al-Kawthar. Just one sip, and they will never feel thirst ever again. But those who changed the religion or abandoned its core teachings, they're turned away. Just imagine that crushing rejection right before the most difficult trial.
And this is that trial, as-Sirat. It is a bridge that every single soul, believer and non-believer alike, has to try to cross, and it is stretched directly over the raging fires of hell.
The classic descriptions of this bridge just paint a picture of an almost impossible crossing. It is said to be thinner than a single strand of hair and sharper than the blade of a sword. And on its edges are these hooks, ready to snatch anyone whose sins weigh them down.
And the journey across isn't just a simple walk. As this slide shows, some sources describe it like checkpoints along the bridge, where you're questioned about the core duties of your life, your faith, your daily prayers, the charity you gave, your fasting, your pilgrimage, and, so importantly, how you treated other people and respected their rights.
How fast you cross is determined entirely by your deeds. The light from your good deeds lights up the path and actually propels you forward. Some will cross in the blink of an eye, like a bolt of lightning. Others, like a gust of wind or a fast horse. But for those whose deeds were few and far between, the path is dark. They might walk slowly, crawl on their hands and knees, or get dragged across, until finally they lose their footing and fall, screaming, into the fire below.
So after that harrowing ordeal on the bridge, the journey finally reaches its conclusion. There are no more tests, no more stages. There are only two possible and permanent destinations.
For those who make it across the Sirāt, they find themselves standing before the 8 gates of paradise. Angels greet them with peace, saying, "You have done well," and welcome them into an eternity of gardens and rivers, where there's no more fear or pain. For those who fall, their journey ends in the fires of hell. The entire day, from beginning to end, is the ultimate display of perfect, divine justice.
And this is what brings it all back to us, right here, right now. Your book of deeds isn't sealed yet. It's being written with every single second that passes. Every prayer you make adds weight to that scale of justice. Every act of kindness adds a little more light for that dark bridge. The entire journey we've just gone through, that's what's waiting for us. So the final question really is, which gates will open for you?